Have you ever heard that phrase, work hard, study a lot, get a good job, and everything will be fine? Yeah, that's the formula many of us have heard since we were kids. Our parents, with all their love and good intentions, repeated it because it worked in their time. But times have changed. And as Robert Kiyosaki, author of the bestseller Rich Dad, Poor Dad, used to say, the advice that worked in the last century no longer serves those who want to succeed in today's world. Imagine two friends, Jerome and Marcos. Jerome always followed the traditional path. He worked diligently, got a good job, earned a decent salary, but he was always in the red at the end of the month. Why? Because he saw his paycheck as the final reward. Work, earn, spend, and then repeat it all over again the next month. Marcos, on the other hand, did something different. One day, after attending a lecture by Warren Buffett and reading Robert Kiyosaki's book, he had a realization. What if I stopped thinking only like an employee and started thinking like an entrepreneur, even if I'm still working for someone else? That's when the magic started. Marcos began to see his salary as the first step, not the final prize. He started asking himself, how can I use this money to build something bigger? How can I plant seeds today to harvest tomorrow? Robert Kiyosaki often talks about this, the difference in mindset between the rich dad and the poor dad. The poor dad values security and wants a fixed salary at the end of the month. The rich dad values freedom and wants to build something that works even while he sleeps. The turning point is in how you think. And no, you don't need to quit your job tomorrow to start a business. Thinking like an entrepreneur means being strategic. It means using what you have today, your time, your income, your skills, to build something for the future. It could be a side business, an investment, or learning something new that takes you to the next level. Here's a powerful quote from Buffett. The best investment you can make is in yourself. Marcos understood this, and because he thought differently, he started to act differently. While Jerome was running on autopilot, Marcos was paving a new path. When Marcos began studying personal finance, one quote struck him deeply. Most people work hard for others. They work for the government, for the bank, for their boss, but never for themselves. That quote was from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it hit him like a wake-up call. Marcos began to reflect. If I receive my salary and pay everyone else before thinking about myself, where are my priorities? From that moment on, he decided to change the game. He made a new personal rule. Every month, before paying any bill, I will pay myself first. But what does that actually mean? It means that as soon as the money hit his account, he set aside a portion, even if it was just 10%, and saved it for his future. He invested in himself, in his studies, and in a financial reserve. It was his way of saying, this amount is mine. It's going to work for me. It's going to help me build freedom. In the beginning, it felt impossible. The bills didn't wait. Rent, groceries, and all the other expenses kept pressing in. But he remembered what Kiyosaki taught. People with a poor mindset save what's left. People with a rich mindset save before anything else. And guess what happened? Little by little, Marcos started to see the money he saved in a new light. It wasn't just a number in a bank account. It became security. It became a plan. It became power to choose. He realized that paying yourself first isn't about how much you earn, but about taking control of your financial life. Because if you don't, there will always be something or someone ready to consume every penny you make. Robert Kiyosaki repeats this often in his lessons. Before becoming financially rich, you need to become mentally rich. And that's exactly what Marcos did. Paying himself first became a habit, a commitment to the future. Even if the amount was small in the beginning, he knew he was building something much bigger. Freedom. After Marcos started setting aside part of his income, something new awakened inside him. If I can make money work for me, then why depend only on one salary? That question changed everything. Robert Kiyosaki talks a lot about this in his books. The middle class works for money. The rich make money work for them. And more than that, the rich don't rely on a single source of income. They have several. That's when Marcos saw the mistake he had been making for years. He worked hard every day, but relied only on his fixed salary. If anything unexpected happened, a layoff, illness, or crisis, everything would collapse. The whole structure would fall like a house of cards. Inspired by Kiyosaki's advice, Marcos started small. With the little he saved each month, he began creating other ways to earn income. First, he took free online courses on investing and financial education. Then, he used part of his savings to invest in real estate funds and dividend-paying stocks. Later on, he bought a few tools and started offering small services in his spare time, something he had always known how to do but never valued. The most curious part: it wasn't just about making more money. It was about having more freedom, the feeling that he was no longer tied to a single boss, to a single paycheck at the end of the month. He could generate income even while sleeping, as Kiyosaki used to say. Passive income is when you make money without being physically present. That's freedom, said Robert Kiyosaki. Over time, the stock dividends started to trickle into his account. Small amounts, but consistent. The money he earned from side jobs was growing slowly but steadily. A new mindset was emerging. It's not about working more. It's about working smarter. And then, one thing led to another. He created a small, online course teaching what he had learned about basic finance. He started selling digital products as an affiliate. He even rented out an extra room in his house to add another source of income. Each new source was like another brick in the construction of his independence. Marcos understood in practice what Kiyosaki always taught. Financial security doesn't come from a good job. It comes from your ability to generate income with or without a boss. And most importantly, he realized that anyone can do this. You don't need to be a millionaire. You don't need to wait for an inheritance. You just need to change your mindset, take the first step, and stop depending on a single source. That's how Marcos went from being totally dependent on his paycheck to beginning a journey toward freedom. You can earn little, work hard, and still stay poor for the rest of your life. Tough to hear, right? But that's the reality for many people. And you know why? Because even with little money, most people keep doing the same thing, buying liabilities, a new TV, a phone on installments, a financed car. All of that drains your money. These are liabilities, meaning things that take money out of your pocket every month. Robert Kiyosaki teaches the opposite. Stop buying liabilities, start buying assets. But you might be wondering, how can I buy assets if my salary barely covers living expenses? Here's the secret. You don't need to start by buying real estate or high-value stocks. Start small. A book that teaches you something valuable is already an asset. A course that improves your income in the future is an asset. A skill you learn today and can use to earn more tomorrow is also an asset. An asset is anything that puts money into your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of it. If you keep using the little you earn to impress others with things that only drag you down, you'll stay stuck in the same place. But if you start planting the right seed, 7, if they're small, you'll go further than many people who earn a lot but don't know how to use it. The choice is yours. Either you keep being a slave to consumerism or you start buying freedom. Fear is one of the biggest enemies of those who want to improve their lives. Many people don't get rich not because they're incapable, but because they're afraid. Afraid to try, afraid to lose money, afraid of what others will think, afraid of making mistakes. And you know what fear does? It paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck in the same bad job, with the same tight salary, living the same cycle over and over. Robert Kiyosaki always says that those who succeed with money aren't the ones who never feel fear, but the ones who learn to act despite it. Because the fear of losing makes many people not even try, and those who don't try never win. You might think, but I don't even have money to risk. But look, sometimes you don't need to risk a lot. You just need to start small and take one step at a time. The problem is that fear makes even the first step feel impossible. Have you ever passed up investing in something that could help you, just out of fear of losing? Have you avoided taking a course, changing jobs, or trying something new because you thought it wouldn't work? Then understand this. It's not your salary that's holding you back. It's your fear. Learning to deal with fear is the first step to building your financial freedom. When you understand that making mistakes is part of the journey, that learning costs something, but standing still costs much more, everything changes. Staying where you are might seem safe, but it's the biggest trap. Because time passes, the bills keep coming and life doesn't wait. Fear gives you excuses, but courage gives you opportunities. So stop now and think, what are you not doing because of fear? And how much is that costing you? Before any money hits your account, it needs to be born in your mind. Robert Kiyosaki teaches that wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your head. And that's why so many people live their whole lives counting pennies, because they were taught to think small, to settle for less, to believe that this is the best I can get. But that's a lie. Most people were trained from childhood to be employees, work, pay bills, and repeat that cycle forever. But what if I told you that you can change that fate, that you don't have to accept this reality as your final one? What separates those who live tight from those who achieve financial freedom isn't luck. It's mindset. It's thinking differently. It's getting out of "I can't" and starting to ask, "How can I?" Those who think like the poor live like the poor. Those who think like the rich find ways, even with little money, even with challenges. The difference is in the way they see the world. While some say, "This is too hard for me," others say, "This is a challenge I'm going to overcome." While some look at the problem and give up, others look at the same problem and find opportunity. You may not have money right now. You might be in debt, exhausted, feeling stuck. But you know what you still have? Your mind. And if you decide to reprogram your thoughts, stop saying it's impossible and start saying "I can," things begin to change. This isn't just empty motivational talk. This is what Robert Kiyosaki applied in his own life. He changed his mindset before changing his bank account. And you can do the same. You're more capable than you think. The problem is that maybe you've forgotten that. And now it's time to remember. Here's one of the most powerful points of Robert Kiyosaki's teaching. Don't rely solely on your salary. It sounds like simple advice, but it's where many people make a serious mistake without realizing. Most people have a steady job, meaning a single income source, their paycheck. And that's fine. I'm not saying having a job is wrong. The problem is that when you depend only on that, you're tied to one stream of income, which makes you vulnerable. If you lose your job, your life turns upside down, and this happens to more people than you might think. But imagine if you had other sources of income besides your salary. Imagine having income that doesn't depend on you actively working all the time. That's what Robert Kiyosaki advocates for. He talks about something crucial: the importance of diversifying your income streams. That doesn't mean you have to quit your current job unless you want to. It means creating new ways to generate income while still maintaining your stability. You can start investing, for example. You can start a small business, make money from something you know how to do, or even find ways to earn passively, such as investing in real estate or stocks. These are ways for you to build wealth outside of your salary. Don't confuse financial security with having only one source of income. That's a trap. Have you noticed that when the economy goes bad, the first thing to happen is salary cuts and layoffs? That's what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket. The key is to create multiple sources of income so you're not solely dependent on one. The goal is to make your money work for you, not the other way around. The good news is that, with the right tools, anyone can learn to invest and start generating those extra income streams. And the best part, you can start with very little. You don't need large amounts of money. What you really need is to understand how the financial game works and start taking action. So the first step here is to change your mindset. Stop thinking that your only goal is to survive on your salary and start thinking about how to build a life where you have multiple income streams that guarantee greater financial freedom and, more importantly, security for the future. Now, we come to one of the most fundamental principles that Robert Kiyosaki shares in his teachings: invest in financial education. Most people believe that to be financially successful, you need to have a high salary or be in a high-status position. But the truth is that what really separates the wealthy from those who struggle financially is not how much they earn, but what they know about money, what they know about how to work with money. That's what Robert Kiyosaki calls financial education. He explains that you can earn a lot of money, but if you don't know how to manage it, grow it, and preserve it, you can lose it all very quickly. On the other hand, someone with a low salary but solid financial knowledge can be more financially successful than someone with a high salary but no financial education. Here's the thing. Without financial education, you'll never understand how money really works. Many people grow up believing that the secret to financial success is simply making more money, but that's not true. The secret lies in how you handle the money you earn. What you do with it after you get paid is what determines whether you'll grow wealthy or keep struggling. And what exactly is financial education? Basically, it's the knowledge you gain about how to make money work for you, how to choose good investments, how to control your spending, how to build a smart budget, how to understand the difference between assets and liabilities, and how to protect your wealth. Kiyosaki suggests that most people receive a traditional education focused on careers and jobs, but no one teaches how to truly make money, manage what you earn, and build wealth. That's something you need to seek out yourself. There are books, courses, podcasts, and videos on personal finance that can help you understand the financial world better. The good news is that you can learn at any time, no matter your age or current financial situation. There are free and accessible resources to help you. If you dedicate yourself to learning what really makes a difference, you can start applying these strategies and see results. However, here's a crucial point. Don't be afraid to invest in your financial education. Many people think investing in courses or books is a luxury, but this is an investment that pays dividends in the long run. Remember, the more knowledge you have, the more prepared you'll be to take advantage of the opportunities that come your way. Start now. Don't wait. It doesn't matter if you have little money or if you're starting from scratch. Invest a little time and energy each day to learn more about finances. You're investing in yourself and your future. Now let's talk about mindset, which is, without a doubt, one of the most important aspects of achieving financial freedom. Robert Kiyosaki teaches that mindset is what separates the rich from the poor. That's right. The way you think about money, work, and success has a huge impact on your financial journey. Most people grow up with a limited mindset, the belief that you have to work hard for a paycheck to secure your future. And for a long time, that mindset was enough. But to achieve financial freedom, you need a different mindset. You need to start seeing money in a new way and realize that it can work for you, instead of you only working for it. Robert Kiyosaki emphasizes that rich people think differently. They don't see money as something hard to get or something that only comes with tons of effort and endless hours of work. They have a mindset focused on abundance. The abundance mindset is the belief that there will always be opportunities, always be resources, and with creativity and smart effort, you can find ways to generate wealth. On the other hand, many people have a scarcity mindset, the idea that there's not enough money for everyone. They believe opportunities are limited and they must fight for what's theirs. That kind of thinking often leads to fear, anxiety, and inaction. If you believe you can't get money, you mentally block yourself and never take the first step. What Kiyosaki suggests is that to succeed, you must change your thinking. You must start seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. The fear of taking risks, the uncertainty about the future, and the belief that you can't do more with what you have, these are limitations. Start thinking about how to maximize what you already have instead of waiting for perfect conditions. If you find yourself saying things like, "I don't have enough money," change that phrase to, "How can I find a way to earn more with what I have?" Or, "How can I learn to multiply my money?" When you change your mindset, you begin to see possibilities where you once saw problems. Make decisions based on abundance, not scarcity. If you learn to act more strategically and think more creatively, you'll begin to see doors that once seemed closed. The abundance mindset is the key to realizing that what's missing isn't money, it's knowledge and strategy. To start, examine your current mindset. Ask yourself, do you think in terms of scarcity or abundance? When an investment opportunity appears, do you think about how you can take advantage of it, or do you feel intimidated by the risk? If you're afraid to invest in yourself, to learn something new, or to try something different, that's a clear sign your mindset needs a shift. Changing your mindset takes time, but it's the first step to transforming your financial life. Believe that you deserve to thrive, that there are opportunities around you, and that you can seize them. Focus on solutions, not problems. When you start thinking big, acting with confidence, and believing in your potential, the game starts to change. It's not about being perfect, it's about taking small steps every day, with a mindset focused on building wealth. Now we come to one of the most powerful principles, investing in financial education. Robert Kiyosaki has always emphasized that the real key to financial success is not how much money you make, but how much you understand about how money works. Many people spend their entire lives earning money but never learn how to manage or multiply it wisely. This happens because most of the time schools don't teach how to manage personal finances, how to invest, or how to create sources of passive income. As a result, people end up working non-stop, trading time for money, without realizing that there is a much more effective way to make money work for them. Financial education isn't just about earning money, it's about understanding the flow of money, knowing how it enters and exits your life, and learning to use this flow strategically. Kiyosaki recommends that you start by investing in knowledge. That means reading books, watching videos, taking courses, and talking to more experienced people about how to build wealth. One of the reasons many people remain stuck in a cycle of debt or face financial difficulties is because they don't know how to use money wisely. The lack of financial education leads to impulsive decisions, like spending more than they earn, living beyond their means, and not knowing how to manage or invest their money properly. Imagine you want to build a house. You wouldn't start building without first learning the principles of construction, right? The same goes for money. To build a solid foundation of wealth, you need to learn the right tools and how to use them correctly. This includes understanding cash flow, investments, good and bad debt, and even how to create an efficient budget. Invest in yourself, in your knowledge. You should learn to manage your money the way a professional would. Kiyosaki suggests that people seek out financial mentors, those who have already achieved what you want to achieve and can guide you. Understanding how money works can transform your financial life, and that knowledge can be accessed through books, podcasts, seminars, and even online courses. Also, one of the biggest mistakes many people make is ignoring continuous education. It's not enough to learn something once and think you're done. The financial world is always changing, and you need to stay updated. Constantly invest in your education so that your money works for you more and more efficiently. When you invest in your financial education, you begin to see that money is not an enemy. In fact, money is a tool that can be used to reach your goals. Financial education will shift your perspective and help you see opportunities that once seemed out of reach. Learn to become a smart investor. It doesn't matter whether you start with a little or a lot. What matters is understanding that knowledge is power, and it is the key to transforming your financial life. And remember, every great investment starts with investing in yourself. When you understand how money works, you begin to make smarter, more strategic and safer decisions. Now stop and reflect. Are you investing in your financial education? If not yet, what are you waiting for? The path to financial freedom starts with the simple act of learning and understanding how money can work for you. If you've made it this far, you're already on the right path to shifting your mindset and achieving financial independence. Remember, transformation starts within you. Change your thoughts about money, act with intelligence and discipline, and the results will come. If this content made sense to you, like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any valuable tips, and share it with someone who also needs to hear this message. The change starts now. How about starting to apply what you learned today? The future is in your hands, and you have the power to change your financial life. See you in the next video.